Hello, all Bitcoiners and card traders. Aladdin is the founder and CEO of Bitcoin Trading Cards. It's the world's first physical Bitcoin only collectible trading cards, turning Bitcoin's ethos into a physical product. And Series 4 was recently released. That was one incentive for me to get him on and talk about what's coming out just lately. It features villains and warriors. The artwork quality and the attention to the rarity of these cards is also very amazing. If you've been to any of the Bitcoin conferences or just been out in the Bitcoin culture at all, the chances are you've seen either their booth, their cards, the energy and culture behind it. It's outstanding. It's really huge. These trading cards, and like artwork and other craft, it promotes and grows the Bitcoin culture and interest and education. It taps into a deep need for human connection, beauty, and play. We all need that in our lives, and it's applicable to all of us at any age. So I can't wait to discuss the multifaceted journey of this entire movement, what's happening now, and what's coming. So Aladdin, thank you for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
The cards are particularly beautiful. I've seen them at the conferences, and other people have had them between, some of the gold foils type inset stuff and the holographic looking rainbow stuff. It probably took a while, one, to get started, but two, to hone this into a product that is just really well produced. You got connected with one of the big card producers. So is the quality where you want it, and is it changing on down the road?
We're definitely there. So Series 3 was the last one we released before this one. That was the Warriors versus Villains. That was when we were able to really step it up dramatically. Like you said, I mean, in the beginning, I spent about 4 years trying to figure it all out, mainly researching Bitcoin and economics to prepare for an educational pack of trading cards, which really hasn't been done since the beginning of trading cards in general. So yeah, the beginning was a big learning curve. We are a very small, finite supply of trading cards compared to Pokemon or any of the big guys. So when I was reaching out to printers, it was really hard to get any of them to want to work with me because they're used to printing tens of millions, honestly. Tens of thousands is tiny. They literally, the bigger brands will print upwards of a billion packs a year. So when I'm hitting them up with 21,000 packs for a full set, they're going, this is non-existent. We don't have the time for that. So I got really, really lucky with the printer that I have now. Best company in all of manufacturing. I mean, they print everything, but trading cards is one of their biggest products, and there's no one better. I hit the jackpot with this company.
That's so awesome. And we'll talk about that in more detail because, I mean, between their security and what they're used to printing, it's top-notch stuff. It's also, compared to other sports cards and other things, there's kind of a fiat aspect to all that compared to what you're doing, which is about the scarcity. And so I wanted to make a point that I think you really resonate with. And, there are based Bitcoiners who aren't into the cards or the game aspect or the collectible or even the artwork for that matter. But I want to start out by presenting an idea that as we compare typical sports cards, pick any sport, I guess, pick a team or a player, an amazing set of the statistics and the points or whatever. It's like, people are really into that. It's been part of our culture for a long time, and we accept it. They're collectibles and they're worth things. But what does that represent? What does that mean? It's like athletic performance, entertainment, winning points, maneuvering a ball well. And sports is like this giant kind of a fiat game compared to Bitcoin. And so while Bitcoin icons are like the influencers, they're not as famous or as much perhaps in the public eye. Look at the incentives and what it means to the world, what they're doing, what we and you are doing to fundamentally change the world, actually fix the most important thing for all of humanity. So in a sense, you'd say Bitcoin cards, well, as it sinks in, believe it or not, these Bitcoin cards represent something far more deep and important than, say, the sports, the fantasy games, the imaginary world. But in my opinion, these Bitcoin cards are super important, not just to resonate with culture, but promoting something that's super important. So they are really cool. I guess
Exactly.
comparing, fiat sports stuff to Bitcoin cards, it's more based.
Oh, it's definitely more based. At the end of the day, all trading cards are, and this is what they've been since literally, I think the first trading cards came out 1862. It's capturing pop culture. That's literally all it is. You can have it in a magazine, in a newspaper, art on your wall. There's many ways to capture the culture of the world, and trading cards are some of the funnest ways to do it because they're easily accessible and you can collect a lot of them. When it comes to artwork or magazines or anything, it stacks up really quick, and there's a lot to go through. In a magazine, you have one page of this pop culture from your favorite band, but you got to dig through potentially 100 pages to find that one page. Where with trading cards, anything from your favorite band to your favorite sports player, garbage pail kids, I mean, you name it.
Oh,
It's
I have some of those. Yeah.
some of the best. And because of the culture that was around that movie Garbage Pail Kids came out as old as I am when I was a kid, and
Yeah.
there's something really nostalgic about that movie, and that's what pop culture is. It's nostalgia, it's history of the world, and it's captured in a way that you can share, you can trade, you can sell, and the coolest part is it's bite size. So it makes it a lot more accessible than all of the larger ways you're going to try and collect pop culture in other ways.
It's a really great way to get, I mean, I'll call it art, get the art out there for all ages. I mean, certainly, I mean, I have strong memories I could get into as a kid collecting cards. I mean, art is this language that translates the ideas. These cards bridge people's interest in education about Bitcoin, whereas otherwise, people aren't just going to resonate necessarily with like technical talk or economic talk or the how it works and that it works and that, oh, it's hard money. Great. But artwork itself, I mean, I've had a lot of Bitcoin artists on. That's where people connect with a relationship with something, a feeling, an experience, a community, and it gloms all together into a thing. And cards in particular are a really divisible dynamic way to experience a wide range of a bunch of things. Plus, you add that it's multifaceted, but you add the artwork, you add all the different kinds of the types of cards, the individual things and ideas on the cards, the trading of it, and then there's the whole mathematics of scarcity. There's the special elite kind of rare cards, and every pack comes with one like special card, right? When you get a regular pack.
Yeah, so every pack comes with a serialized card, meaning it's a number stamped on the back, so you know exactly what number out of, let's say it's an out of 100, you have number 69 of 100. So people that chase those particular numbers, that's what makes those cards special. But what we do different at the end of the day with our cards is, I mean, every single one of our cards has a limited edition number on the back of it. So even if it's the least common of all cards, you know how many of those exist. And I mean, with our community, I don't think there's any cards that we produce that are not collectible for that reason.
Yeah, because you only make so many of them. Like you mentioned, the fiat sports cards, whatnot, they'll print millions of them or as many as they can sell, basically. They don't.
Millions of one card, not just millions.
Oh,
Millions
yeah.
of cards.
Okay. Yeah, it's crazy. And there's there's an artistry in those printers where they randomize them and sort them and do all that. But when what you're doing is very complicated because you're also introducing this sense of rarity. So there's you get a card and it's number like 100 something out of a total of like, 210 or whatever it may be. So you're sorting out just a select pretty small relatively number of certain types of cards that are only going to go so many places, and then distributing those in packs and in boxes, and then geographically, it's a puzzle. But it makes the whole ethos of the whole thing extra special and based. And then when you get a pack, It's not like, well, I hope I get this one card that's a particular favorite, but is it rare? You can't even really know. And
don't know
I mean, you
most.
can get, like like sports cards type exchanges or catalogs. They'll estimate that stuff, and there's a sense of rarity, but you often have no idea. Whereas with these cards, you can really know for sure. Oh, this is one of a limited number, so
Yeah,
it makes
the
it more rare.
closest you'll get with others is if it's not serialized, you're going to get short print. So their way of telling you that it's scarce is it's short print. Okay, well, what does short print mean? I've heard the Fed say stuff like that before, and um, very
Yeah.
similar there. So yeah, transparency is definitely lacking, and when you're trying to get in and chase something fun, it really comes down to just you got to love the cards you're chasing, period. It's not, don't do it for the money. For anything else, if you pull something really rare and special, right on, but it should be like, I love Garbage Pail Kids and I'm going to buy them because I love them and I want to collect them and share them with my kids or my grandchildren or whatever it is, rather than I'm going to rip this pack in the hopes of pulling a lottery ticket here.
Yeah, mentioning Garbage Pail Kids, it's so funny. I wondered how much that resonated culturally, but they were pretty huge back in the day. I was in elementary school, and I didn't find out about them until like the third edition, I think. And they're literally in my garage right now. I just kept them, but it's funny because you could say, "Oh, it was just for fun," but it does tie into how people, especially young people, how they start to think about money and property, what has value or not, the idea of scarcity. And so a lot of kids might start thinking about money or like commodities by starting out with like a collection, looking at the quality, trading them, wanting to acquire more, and then thinking about, oh, uh, like how do I get money to get what I want? It starts to frame certain things in a kid's mind about all of the things that later can apply to what has value and why. So it's a step in that way for kids. I was like that with Garbage Pail Kids, and then it's funny because I had a pack of my favorites that I wrapped in a rubber band and kept in my back pocket, and they're all bent and corners are frayed, and I loved them. And then in hindsight, I look at them and it's like, these are so janky. But at the time, it got me on a path of that feeling of, having value or like having something that was mine. And so it planted that seed. Uh, what you're doing is extra special. Here's how naive I am to this world. I haven't collected cards in years, but I do. I got a 5-pack of these, and now these are the educational ones, right?
Yep, correct.
You get a pack, and then sometimes adults are like, "Well, don't even open it because you lose value." Maybe, I don't know. Depending on, people buy packs or boxes and don't open them because they consider them that kind of a commodity. Really.
Yeah.
Um,
Our
throwing
Series 1, if you're lucky enough to still hold a Series 1 box, average $20,000 for a Series 1 box.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Looking at your website.
Smart enough to not open your Series 1 box, you did pretty good on your return there. So sealed product definitely has more of a value at times than open product because the chase is still in there, right? You don't know what that is. And the older it gets, the more you're going, okay, there's a couple cards that I've never heard of being pulled. It could be in this one box or just holding something classic that has never been opened. There's something special about that.
Yeah. Doobie 422, he probably remembers the Garbage Pail Kids, Evil Eddie, Adam Bomb. I remember so many of those funny names. So do I dare? Well, so first on your website here, I'm on your website. Yeah, some of these packs, they're a high commodity, and in fact sold out because you only make so many, like a whale bundle.
Yeah,
sold
so
out.
Bundles are you're buying a bulk, right? You're buying a bundle of product. The original like single box is still pretty high valued at $1,200, and then the bundles are multiple boxes and then a bunch of free stuff that we throw in there to incentivize people during the pre-sale, because these are cards and original prints that are extremely limited edition, and they're limited to these bundles, and you can only get them if you get a bundle. And it's been working really well over the years, where the free items that you get end up being on the secondary market, they end up being pretty valuable, and it ends up being a bigger discount if you sell your bundle gifts than what I could give as an actual discount.
Yeah, interesting. And the golden key. Now, is this true? Is there a giveaway of a car? Is that what I read?
There is. This is how crazy my mind works, putting things together. So this is something that hasn't been done. I believe it's been like 25, 30 years. Topps gave away some cars back in the 90s. Yeah, this is the first time really since then that there's been a car given away. And normally the way that they did it back then was you'd open a pack, and if you were lucky, you would get a entry card. And this entry card would be a chance to win this car, where what we did is we created 420 boxes. That's it. Inside this box, it's an experience literally unlike anything that's ever been printed in the trading card world ever before. There's literally a figurine of this car that was handmade, one in every box, and it's this big. And when you open it up, pull the car out, you rip it in half, and the pack, that golden key pack, sits inside this car. And then there's only 420 of those golden key packs. And then you have to play a red light, green light game, because that's my daughter's favorite game. So when I was the idea, she was throwing her ideas in there. So we red light, green light gamified the pack, which is something else crazy that's never been done. And if you pull the one of one golden key card you see there, you win a $69,000 Dodge Challenger.
Wow. Yeah, that is unique and wild.
Last thing for Bitcoiners, if you don't want the Dodge Challenger, completely understandable. There is a Bitcoin exchange. So you can say, I don't want the car, and you can go for some Bitcoin instead.
Can you just give me Bitcoin?
That's the whole point of it. And it really, even in some of our wordage, it really gives people the sovereign choice and allows them to decide what is that choice they want. Are they going for this car? Where are they financially in life? Where are they in their mindset?
Sure.
And the opportunity to make that sovereign decision. And I mean, the car, I'm sure a lot of Bitcoiners can go, okay, that's fiat. Why would you throw a car in there? At the end of the day, we have to get Bitcoin out to the general populace. We've got to find a way to bring people into Bitcoin. I've been saying this a lot over the last week, and I'm asking many Bitcoiners, if Bitcoin went to $1 million tonight, were we successful? And we can say we own some Bitcoin, so we would be successful. But would Bitcoin be successful in what it was meant to do, which is help to bring freedom to the world? If it hit $1 million tonight, that's a lot of people that are saying, I won't buy it at 3,000 because it's too expensive.
Yeah, I'm late.
I'm late at $1 million. No one's jumping in. So yes, Bitcoiners, we're incredibly happy, but for freedom money at that point, it really is locking people out. And to that whole point of trading cards being our first currency, it was those Garbage Pail Kids cards that you had wrapped up in your back pocket. That was your currency as a kid.
Yeah.
We weren't walking around with cash. We were walking around, I mean, not everyone, but a lot of us, with a handful of trading cards in our back pocket. And we could trade for some bubble gum. We could trade for half of someone's candy bar. I mean, that was our currency.
Right.
And I've been going out in person to trading card shows for years now. We got a lot of work to do. If the trading card industry alone right now is not questioning the collectibles, we'll call it that they're buying, and going, okay, if you guys are telling me that this is a collectible, we're calling it an asset like fiat money is supposed to be, but we're not asking what the supply is. And this is literally hundreds of millions of people that collect collectibles, but very few of them are asking what the supply of these collectibles are. this is a big sign that we have a lot of work to do. It's a
Yeah.
long way to go to educate people on just the basics of economics, like supply and demand, asset versus liability. I've been pushing this one a lot too. A toy versus a collectible versus an asset. And right now in today's world, the majority of people don't know the difference. And that's where we're at right now. So the car is my way to throw something in there that can incentivize people that may look at Bitcoin and Bitcoin trading cards and I'm not really into that scarcity and all that. I don't understand any of that stuff. Well, here, I'm going to incentivize you with a car. Here's a chase that you can go after that is incredibly based. I live in California. We're not even legally allowed to make these cars anymore because it's a gas burning engine. It's polluting the environment while they're dropping thousands of bombs weekly across the world. But God forbid you have a 500 horsepower muscle car.
Yeah.
So
Brother.
we are unapologetically based, and this car is unapologetically based. And we're making a stance with a car, and we're doing it in a way where it's a Trojan horse. We don't have to come out and get political and go into any deep discussions. We just come out with a really badass based car and go, this is your opportunity. And these are the things that we need to start doing as educators, whether it's Bitcoin, economics, whatever you're trying to educate someone on to better their life. If you come at them like a pushy parent or one of these college professors, we're not going to get anywhere. We have to come out like that really awesome older brother in the 80s that pulled up in the Camaro with a really hot girlfriend. And I want to be like my brother, or I want to be like my sister when I grow up. That's the kind of vibe we have to put off as Bitcoiners and educators in order to get people that are, I mean, respectably, they're lost right now. The world is crazy. And you can't approach them with bombarding them with information that makes them feel lesser. Like we have cards that is the FOMO card, the DCA card, like literally just breaking down the language of not just Bitcoin, but economics language, so that when people do start to dabble into learning more, they already feel like they've learned how to speak the language. So breaking it down, making it as simple and easy as possible. And Bob Burnett, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of him. I don't know if you've heard of him. Barefoot Trading, one of the first personal advisors before I even launched it. And he said, Alladan, if you can make Bitcoin fun, we're going to bring a lot of people to Bitcoin. That's at the end of the day, to educate someone, you got to tear down their walls. And the only way to really do that is to be inviting, to be as inclusive as possible, and a smile, fun, make it engaging and fun. You're going to get people to come in. So that's the whole point of everything. My rant, I'm sorry, but that's the whole
great
thing we're trying to do is like break the walls down and make Bitcoin fun for everyone to be able to come in and check out what's going on here.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I love Bob. His mining work is based and awesome. It's awesome that you're connected with him. At the end of the day, we're humans, and okay, you could say that, okay, people are attracted to owning this stuff or collecting this stuff. We live in a fiat world, but what it's indoctrinating people with are these concepts, the education, the history, and stuff going on. The real based cards you have. I mean, they hang out to dry very vividly in artwork. Things like all the acronyms, WHO, WEF, the European Central Bank, the Federal Reserve, all these things. The fiat monsters. There. Oh, hey, there you go. I saw that one.
And that's hope, right?
Hope.
So it's all types of ways to start kind of triggering people's, I would call it their value glands, right? Let's get people to start just checking their values and personal values, relationship values. That's Bitcoin, right? Everything comes down to value. What do you value in life? You should value your time over almost anything. That comes back to family, the time I have with my family. So with everything that we're building, we're trying to build a trigger system for people to start questioning values, their friends' values, right? The Fed's values, the government's values, pharmaceutical values. Let's just look at values in general across the board. And I think this is something that is very difficult for all of us because of social media. because social media's algorithm is to push the exact opposite of positive values. That's built to push negative values.
Keep your attention. And these cards open up doors to people that might start not knowing a lot about it, or they understand the value of Bitcoin, but they also just love the culture and the ethos and the art. All good. You might get Bitcoiners that are like, well, I'd rather just buy Bitcoin. Great. You're for that as well. You're like, yeah, if you're thinking that way and you're prioritizing where your assets are and your base Bitcoin, get your Bitcoin. But for anyone hating on it, it's like, dude, relax. We got to have fun. We need our artwork. Who as a kid didn't like trading cards? And do I dare open one of these?
That's what they're meant for. So I literally created those because they're educational cards at the end of the day. And so many people were either, I'm not going to open the pack, or I'm not going to give the pack to somebody to educate them, because what if there's a one of one in there and the one of one's worth $10,000? Like, I'm afraid to give my neighbor a pack, to be totally honest. When I do, I make him open it in front of me and I'm like, I love you. But there's certain cards that if you pull them, you're giving it back.
I don't know if you can see that. Creature from Jekyll Island. I have that book behind me.
We actually have G. Edward Griffin in Series 2, and I reached out to G. Edward Griffin, got him to give me the total love to put him in Series 2, and he's actually ripped a couple of the packs. So, yeah, that's one of my biggest accomplishments, because G. Edward Griffin was one of the biggest life changers for me.
Before I knew Bitcoin, I was pretty black-pilled, and I read The Creature from Jekyll Island, and I started to recognize how the Federal Reserve and money worked. But I didn't have a real escape hatch. It was like, well, I guess I'll stack gold and guns and ammo. And but you're like, well, what are you gonna do? Live out in the woods and have some timber and game. But it was kind of black pilly, because what am I gonna do with gold necessarily? So yeah, I was ready for Bitcoin, that's for sure. Here we have currency loaded up on the Titanic.
It's actually I think that's the U.S. Capitol that's hitting the.
Oh, the U.S. U.S. Capitol is on the Titanic sinking, and there's your escape hatch right there, your life raft. Tyranny. Got tyranny. Anyway. It's like I'm reluctant to open these, and then I want to handle them really carefully, because just inherently as an adult now, remembering from a kid, like, these are all special. I want to keep them in mint condition, Bring Facts says, in your background on the shelf, Hero of Bitcoin game. Is that something you have back there?
I don't. I've been wanting to get that game. I've played it a couple times, but I haven't gotten one. I need, next time there's one on Scarce City, I need to grab it up.
Yeah. You've got the same infinity divided by 21 million. I've got the exact same thing right there from No Waste Signs.
Yes.
Okay. So back to the website real quick. Oops, I got to bring it up. Here we go. So here, that car, and also the gold look of it, the logo design and all that, it makes me think of Asanoa. I know you met Asanoa. He's got he does the black and the gold. It's sleek and crisp and pops. It's beautiful. I love the matte black on this car, and then the bright, shiny gold. It's in your logo. It's in your box and all that. I got connected to you through Asanoa and, doing the Bitcoin Art Magazine. Because you met him, was it at Pacific Bitcoin in like a few years ago, 2023?
That was at my launch. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the first event that I ever did when I launched Series 1. That's where I met him, and where he basically stole my black and gold style at that point.
Oh, he stole your style.
No, he's one of my best friends in the whole world. Yeah, he stole my style.
That's funny, because now it's such identified with his style, you know what I mean? But no, it's throughout your artwork, because he would do layouts and artwork for you. He still maybe does, right? He's involved with you.
Art director, yeah.
He's okay. So Asano is your art director, which speaks to that crisp, elegant style. And yeah, Bitcoin Art Magazine, Raymond says, yeah, so I should toss it up on the screen here, but Bitcoin Art Magazine is awesome to see as well. I've got it. There we go. Yeah, this is another gallery in your hands. It's literally it. People want that tangible product. People have said, "Oh, well, you could put it online. People can share more, experience more, see it online, have it available and accessible." Well, there's something to be said for having it in your hands, and you can smell it and feel it and turn the pages. Anyway, so he's got a I'm glad he's producing this printed quarterly magazine because it's another mechanism for people to connect, with the Bitcoin culture to something tangible that's um, intrinsic. We joke about intrinsic value, but it is like an intrinsic thing as humans that you can hold in your hands and experience. So it's that same deal there.
It's bringing people back to the physical reality.
Yeah, right.
One of the main things we're missing. That's series 4 is the simulation. So it's all about the digital detox and paying attention to the simulation that we're in right now. We really don't have a whole lot of connection with each other anymore. And again, the similarities between trading cards and Bitcoin, the fiat system, I mean, they are literally one in one. So you get into trading cards for the chase, for the fun, for the art, all these different reasons, but you stay for the community. Like once you find your community, it may be cards that you don't even really like, but you end up continuing to buy them or continue to play the game because these are where your friends are at. Well, Bitcoin, I can almost guarantee you, other than I'm sure there's a handful of people out there, but you come for the Bitcoin, you stay in the community because Bitcoiners, we're a little different, we're a little crazy, and we feel very lonely in this world, understanding things that most people don't.
Yeah, right.
Come to Bitcoin and you meet other Bitcoiners and you're like, wow, I'm not alone. There's other people out there that understand what I've been trying to explain to people forever. And I now can have these conversations that are not a one-way conversation. I'm learning from them, they're learning from me. That is a beautiful thing. And that's what keeps people in Bitcoin at the end of the day. Bear market, but the community, you stick around.
Yeah. And when the fiat price grinds sideways or down for a long time, it really galvanizes that sense of, as Bitcoiners, that we are still building, we're still in it. You have to reconcile your why. Like, is it number go up for you when it gets too hot? Are you out? Why are you in this? It kind of helps reframe and center why we do this and what it means. So these corrections are really kind of good to like check all that. The low floors are higher and it's continuing to grow, but you still continue to find and connect with those that are still in it for the right reasons, and you connect on a very deep level. And the cards are the threads that also can connect that. But when you're into it, and people are maybe only curious when the number's high and they want to buy when it's at its top because they're just FOMO and they don't know anything about it. I mean, it can be validating in a way, but you meet a lot of like, oh, I'm into Bitcoin now. And, maybe they're on the path, but it can be superficial to them or, maybe when the price is low like this and you do connect with people, whether it's online or you go to a conference or whatever, the people that are there get it. And you feel that deep connection. And it's so much more than the tech or the money or the economics or the things. Warriors versus villains. So now that was series 3, right?
Yeah.
So the whole idea behind warriors versus villains, we are in this existential battle right now. It's kind of a story as old as time. Yeah. We need Bitcoin heroes and warriors, and I think we ultimately, inevitably, we win. But there are villains out there, and you can see the machinations of that out in the macro world. Hear about it every day and on your feed or whatever. But every day you see it, and it's like enough.
Yeah.
So we're fighting that, and it's not like, well, we're in a war, so just be serious all the time and dour and like fighting a personal battle. It's like, no, no, no. We got to have fun. If we're not enjoying this peaceful revolution, it's hard to sustain.
Yes.
So we're
Yeah.
having fun with it.
And I mean, to that point, I think here's a very based opinion on all around what you were saying, like warriors versus villains. We have never called any human being we put in the pack a hero before. In Bitcoin, we're taught to slay our heroes, which is one of the most important aspects for anyone to learn. So we call them warriors. And why do we call them warriors? Because they're out there battling, but every human being is fallible at the end of the day. Like you don't trust verify human beings. I mean, unless it's your own mama and you got a good mama, I don't know. It's a very difficult world we're in. So we're up against a battle that even the people on our side may not be fully on our side. Even the people on our side may go and do something stupid that doesn't necessarily mean they're bad in any way, but it makes us look really bad. We are in a culture war right now that is incredible and more difficult than I think most people can realize. And with Bitcoin, I think this is a testament to probably the most difficult experiment, I would call it, in human history, other than gold and silver. For this reason, and I think this is one that isn't really discussed very often or very rarely. Gold and silver, they're a commodity. This is money for 5,000 years, but there's no CEO. There's no president. There's no company. Everyone has the opportunity to join in on this. You can mine gold and silver in every continent on Earth. But who's going to market it? Who's going to control it? Who's going to run it? Nobody. That's why gold and silver has been the money of the world for 5,000 years. Now, here we have Bitcoin, new currency. There is no controllers. There's no CEO. There's no marketing team. This is money that is for everybody on the face of the earth. This is beautiful. But it also gives us one massive human experiment here, because now we are all the CEO and the company and the marketing team for Bitcoin. So back to that warrior thing. Michael Saylor. I honestly like Michael Saylor a lot. I wouldn't call him a hero because I don't know, but I like a lot of what he says. You can go paper money, you can go all these things. There's a million directions, but he's come out and his voice on freedom, I like. And I am a freedom maxi over anything else. Without freedom, I'm sorry, everybody, Bitcoin don't mean shit. It ain't going to do nothing. It ain't going to save your family. It's not going to, like, it don't matter how rich you are. If you don't have freedom, Bitcoin ain't shit.
Yeah, right.
I love what Michael Saylor says. But if Michael Saylor ends up doing something really screwed up, regardless of Bitcoin, it's not going to look good. Why? Because to the world, Michael Saylor is the CEO of Bitcoin. I've been called the CEO of Bitcoin at conferences with my Bitcoin trading card booth, not in the Bitcoin conference at all. Obviously, we all know, but at trading card conferences, they've walked up and said, how did you get permission from the Bitcoin company to make Bitcoin trading cards? Are you the CEO of Bitcoin? I mean, we are early on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So these are the things that I wished more of these Bitcoin influencers would be talking about. We could go up all day long. Today, Bitcoin did this. Today, Bitcoin did that. It's not really getting us. Let 5 of the 5,000 Bitcoin influencers have that discussion. But everyone else, if they really want the success of Bitcoin, the success that we are in it for, other than maybe BlackRock and all these big hedge funds, we're in it for freedom go up. Freedom ain't going to go up if we don't figure out the culture of Bitcoin. If we don't start to understand that we are all the marketing arm for Bitcoin, we all have to figure out a way to make this work together the best we can, or just understand that at the end of the day, Bitcoin is just like gold and silver. And gold and silver is just a commodity at the end of the day. And that's boring for a lot of people. And if Bitcoin bumps to $1 million, That's great for us Bitcoiners. But
Right.
to everyone else, it's just another stock or commodity or whatever it is that went to the moon. They missed out. Too late for them.
Yeah.
They're not going to care. Honestly, it's going to be the opposite. They're going to go, I don't really like Bitcoin, because they're going to be a little bit bitter that maybe they had the opportunity or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It made a bunch of rich people richer. Oh, these Bitcoiners talked about freedom and helping the world and was going to save the world. Now it's $1 million and none of us will be able to touch it. The game theory of Bitcoin going to the moon immediately, like all of us Bitcoiners are dreaming of, the Omega candle, all these things are wonderful for us. But for the rest of the world, it's not what we all think and hope and pray Bitcoin will end up doing for the world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have a lot of responsibility as Bitcoiners to go, what is the purpose? Is the purpose just for us to know something that other people don't? Make a bunch of money on this and do really, really well? Or is the purpose to have a freedom money for people all over the world, for me to be able to send Henry, my friend in Africa, $20 if he needs it, and do it in a couple seconds on Lightning, and have him be able to go to the store and buy the groceries he needs, or the malaria drugs that he needed, and he needed it now because he's literally in the hospital with malaria right at this moment. And they're going, we will not treat you if you don't get $20 in here right now. And he can hit up one of his Bitcoin friends and say, hey, I need $20 and sadly I need it right now. Bitcoin is the only payment, the only method to save this guy's life potentially. That is the beauty of Bitcoin, not BlackRock making us all rich, not all the rest of the crap that we've been hoping and we get the government in and all this. No, it comes back to the culture. And that is the marketing arm of Bitcoin. Culture has to be fire. And to just bring it back to the cards, we're capturing the culture. And we're hoping to spark that culture throughout the Bitcoin community to pay the most attention to the culture, make it inviting, and get as many people interested and excited about Bitcoin as possible.
It's absolutely incredible. Everything from how Bitcoin works across the planet, nearly instantaneously, pretty much any amount to whoever you want, permissionless. And that's why I like talking to artists a lot, Bitcoin artists and stuff, is that, yes, if we're relying on the right kind of number go up to get people in on Bitcoin, I had a thought a couple of days ago, it kind of hit me while I was just spacing out. And it was like, the more that you see, you know, people that say they're Bitcoin maxis or influencers out there, the more they talk about price, the more I can't help but think all they're thinking about is that number go up, get rich. And the more likely they are that they're going to sell Bitcoin. They're going to sell their Bitcoin. So the more focused somebody is on a price, in my mind, you know, they're going to like what they want to sell. They're going to sell. When you understand the base, what the revolution is, what the movement is, what's deeply pro-humanitarian about all this, it's, yes, it's a harder money. It also fixes so many things. And it's almost like I don't want it to necessarily moon. Even with volatility, a slow, steady upward trajectory helps people, whatever stage they're at, in various levels of willingness or stubbornness or whatever. Like you're still not late. You're still not late. Do you see what's happening? You're still not late. And just coaxing people in. Some people will do that because they're into like money and investments, but honestly, not a lot. There's a lot of people, they need that culture. They need the community. They need the shiny, cool stuff. And to start learning. And that's what your bridging is, and building a huge amount of following and culture based on something that's really deeply innate to us from when we're kids. And even as adults collect all kinds of stuff because there's that sense of value or rarity or symbol, you know, symbolistic meaning. And so, yeah, you're tapping into something very deeply human. It's much more than just cards. It's like human nature and human incentives. And if that gets them also to Bitcoin, you're doing great work. I love it. Michael Saylor orange pilled me. I mean, back in the day, it was his long rants and stuff. And I was just, you know, I wanted to make him a hero, worship the guy. And now he's doing the treasury stuff. And I'm like, okay, I got to back up and be like, I'm kind of an 80 IQ pleb, kind of based. I don't want to play games. I don't want counterparty risk. So I'm kind of watching it from a distance, but I'm not judging it too harshly. If that helps other people get exposure to Bitcoin, I'm like, okay, I'm not against it, but I just don't play the game. Yeah, it's like we don't want to worship these heroes. There were early Bitcoin developers, early people interacting with Satoshi and like understanding version 0 point whatever of Bitcoin. And they would go off deep ends of shitcoinery. So you start to worship these brilliant early Bitcoin devs, and then they went off and we're going to fix a new version of some other blockchain. And so, yeah, it's not about individual heroes or anything. It's all of us. And that is the Bitcoin community and culture. And on par, when I go to conferences, meet people like you and others, a lot of really good, ethical, strong values, just good people, really good people. And that's what I love about it. So the cards connect us that way. So it's awesome. I love it. I want to get to the artists. So among all the things, you're thinking about starting this project, there's so many multifaceted layers on how you do that. And you can conceptualize it like, oh, I'm going to make cards. At some sort of face value, you could be like, well, that's pretty straightforward, right? I can only imagine how organized you have to be tracking it out, let alone, I saw a documentary on Magic the Gathering and how they made their stuff, but reaching out to artists, connecting and having a working networking points with a variety of artists. And I guess describe to me how that started. Finding all the artists, getting them to contribute, laying them out, and designing card by card by card by card. It's like, okay, yeah, I can make a bunch of these. And then when you have so many, it's a lot of work. So how did you find, you're an artist yourself, right? You were an artist.
Yeah.
So you're connected a little bit. How did you reach out and connect and get a lot of people on board?
I mean, in the beginning was by far the most difficult. I didn't have a whole lot of avenues at that point. Didn't know a whole lot of artists at that point. I conceptualized and sketched out, I think series 1, I sketched out 80, 90% of the cards at least. And when I say sketched out, I'm pretty OCD on my own work. So I went as far as having a basically finished work to a certain degree, but I don't work on computers. I have to do all my organizing and files and everything on there for the printers, but I can't stand creating art on a computer myself. But there's an amazing artist out there that actually, and I tried it. I bought the tablet, I bought the stylus, and I bought the little tip of the stylus. It's supposed to feel like a pencil. And I'm like, this is just not for me.
Not your medium.
No. So I just continue to do everything pen and paper. And then searching for artists was really difficult. As an artist myself, and the topics being very based, we've got cards like Series 4, for example. There are 3 main tyranny cards in Series 4. It's communism, socialism, and Marxism. You can't find a communist to do it. There's amazing communist artists out there. I've met many of them that are incredible artists, but
sure,
I want them to convey what communism is to me or to history. Let's not say to me. Let's be very PR on this. It is not my opinion of what communism is that we have portrayed on these cards. None of these cards am I trying to portray my opinions to people. I'm trying to portray the truth and reality of the world. So, for example, communism. I'm going to give you a historical, artistic portrayal of communism. Take it for what you want. This is what has happened over hundreds of years. Mark that, but let's say this is the history of communism. This is the history of socialism. They can argue it and fight it all they want, but so far it's never been successful. And
The
what is it
outcomes, yeah.
so far? Well, it looks like this. Well, that's pretty hardcore. Well, that's what it looks like. To
If we
reality,
just did it right, no, seriously, if we just did it right, we'd
just one
have a
time.
different outcome.
Yeah. So it's very difficult to conceptualize a lot of these topics, a lot of these cards, because they're deep. Like, these are very, very deep topics to try and turn into you want the artwork to be a universal language. You want it to be something that, even if you do not speak English whatsoever, you can look at the artwork and go, okay, I understand what the artist is trying to convey here. And conceptualized economic topics, few and far between. So very, very difficult in the beginning to figure that one out. I had to get in my flow and get rolling. And I had to find artists that I would have interviews with them, and we would get into discussions and just try to get a feel for them to see if they were the right ones to pull the art off. And there was many times I thought we were on the same page, and it came back and no. And me being an artist myself, there's the clause, well, it's you're happy or nothing, like satisfaction guaranteed. The art was beautiful. It wasn't my thing. It didn't fit for the card, but I can tell this artist put time and love into it. So it was many, many times I paid for a lot of artwork over all these years, over and over, that I never used. But I still paid the artist because the artist did try their best. It wasn't what I wanted. I'm a perfectionist. So there's a lot of iterations. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of frustration, a lot of amazing friendships. I now have a team of artists from around the world that I work with in every set. Not only work with them, but I've employed their wife. I've employed other family members. It's really turned into an incredible thing. I don't work with many American artists. There's a different dynamic with them, a sense of ego that is a little bit. Sometimes it works really well, and a lot of times it really doesn't. I find that the artists that I've been working with, like Argentina, Indonesia, even in Canada, Ukraine. I mean, I've worked with artists literally all over the entire world, but my family of artists, they live in third world countries, and their dollar is shit and has no value whatsoever. So when they found base trading cards, Bitcoin trading cards, they were like, oh yeah, I can get behind this all the way. And I pay them really, really well. So it's making a massive difference in their life, where if I paid an American artist what I'm paying one of these artists, there's no way. Even the top there's no way. They wouldn't give me the time of day. There would be no respect, nothing. Where these artists are literally like, I was able to put my sister through college. I was able to buy my first house and get married and move forward in life. In America, I mean, there's no way. It's just far, far, far too expensive. And then even if you pay someone $15,000, $20,000 a month to be your artist, they're probably at a level where their ego's probably not something that would work that great anyway. So there's all these balances when it comes to the art. I mean, it has been probably one of the most difficult aspects of this entire project, because I'm a perfectionist, I'm OCD. I want the art to be incredible. And that's probably not the best way to be. I mean, the quality comes out great in the end, but the time and energy is 10x what I would probably have to put in if I wasn't such a perfectionist.
It's an incredible amount of proof of work, and also forging and maintaining the relationships. Even when an outcome isn't kind of what you wanted, the relationships are still primary. And related to location, you mentioned, geographic sourcing for artists. There is a question in the comments here that says, if you had to, I don't know about if you'd have to rebrand, but would you consider moving your company location to take advantage of economy? I know there's a lot of business going to El Salvador or Plan B type ideas. If talking about American artists, if America itself, in terms of business or what have you, use your imagination. What's coming here, folks? I guess, would you rebrand or move locations?
No,
Mhm.
I'm a family man at the end of the day,
Mhm.
and uh, being close to my parents, being close to my wife's parents, having that family. Unless I could move them all out of country, no. I think we sacrifice a lot of opportunities, a lot of things in life. Back to the values. What are your values? What do you value most? If this business went to crap tomorrow, my family. Like
Mm.
that's one thing that I won't risk, and I don't want to. I work all the time, far too much, and I'm blessed to work basically from home, so I can go take care of my family in the morning. We homeschool everybody. It's amazing. Please,
Wow.
that's the best thing that you could do for your children. So I get to be with my kids in the morning. I get to go for lunch, and I only have to walk a couple feet, and I'm there at night for dinner. Uh, Everything that I do is for my family at the end of the day. So to Raymond, shout out Raymond. I know who that
Mhm.
is. Great guy.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I would stick here for that reason.
Yeah. He says he's sleeving cards right now. So he that's awesome. So, and we haven't quite got there. We talked about the warriors and the villains. Tell me about the latest series that's come out fairly recently. What's the theme? What's the style of it? What is it all about?
So it's the simulation, and this is one that I've been wanting to do since I came up with the idea many, many years ago for the company in general. Um, we're in a crazy cultural moment right now with these screens. They are amazing in some ways. What we're able to do right now, have conversations, have my friends from the community in here hanging out with us. I mean, this is amazing stuff that we couldn't do 20 years ago. But like any technology, uh, there's good sides and bad sides, and social media and just the device connection, and I mean it's becoming a part of us now.
Hmm.
It's really scary where we are, and it's not getting better. So
Uh-huh.
the simulation is focused around trying to get people to just step back and take a deep breath, and maybe think a little bit about something as simple as walking outside, take your shoes off and touch grass, right? Just the basic little things like that that are life changing if you really start implementing these things.
Hmm.
So the whole premise of the set is kind of like everything that we do. It's just trying to spark a little bit of critical thinking. Not telling you how to think in any way, shape, or form, but hopefully incentivizing you to just think for yourself,
Yeah.
question reality a little bit, and life could get a lot better. I mean, one of the things we just did, Fritz, it's a big risk right now. On our We haven't done too much on Twitter yet, but it'll start coming over, and that is on Instagram. I mean, we partnered up with Maximal Nostalgia. Taveus is a prodigy. He's 26 years old, and he was able to take this using AI, which is kind of ironic, create these 1980 simulations, basically little videos like you just stepped back in time. And I checked this out like a year ago and fell in love with it. I was like, this is amazing. I literally feel like I'm back in the 80s right now. It's incredible. So I kept
Mhm.
bugging him. Finally got him to come on and be my social media content creator. And if you go to our Instagram, I mean, we don't say anything about Bitcoin. You got our base Bitcoin logo on there, but we don't say anything about Bitcoin. All we're trying to do is to let people start to think about when life was better, the digital detox. What was it like before we were attached to these phones? What did that feel like? And he generates on average about 100 million impressions a month, which
Oh,
is
wow.
pretty incredible. And I don't think there's many Bitcoiners out there that can even get close to that. So with those numbers, and our again, it goes back to everything that I've been saying in this whole podcast is we got to hit people in their values. And we've got to get people to start thinking about their values again and questioning that before anything else. And once we start to break people I wouldn't say break down. Let's say we start to break through to people around this value system. Other things are going to start to come to life. Other things are going to start to be questioned. It's just sparking enough of that interest to get them on the right road, I guess, get them on the right track to even want to. And then they'll come to Bitcoin. At the end of the day, there's only one currency on earth that does what Bitcoin does. So eventually almost any person that understands values and has their own personal values, all roads lead to Bitcoin.
Yeah, and I just had to search for your Instagram and found it, I think. But yeah, all these 80s things, being a Gen Xer like we are, it was like we were living in the best of times where it started out without a lot of technology, and then it kind of crept its way in bit by bit with video games and other stuff. And we've seen the long arc of how that's evolved. So we kind of have a perspective, whereas kids, just live and breathe it from the day they're born today. But yeah, just the big hair and the like a payphone, it's just, I have all these memories, like what these pictures show. It's cool. That's awesome.
And that's the simulation right? It's the digital detox, trying to get people to remember what it was like before they were attached to a device.
Yep. Yep. You had to turn the knob on the TV and catch the show at the time. And then when your shows were over, it was like, now it's something else. Time to go outside. And I'd be out till the lights went out, my little personal gut check, because I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I got a day job. So I'll work during the day. I get home. There's these windows where you have to deliberately carve out that, this is daddy time, family time, dinner time, whatever. And if I catch myself, because you can easily do it, you can be anywhere, you get a buzz, or, I got to check something, I got to schedule something, and you start, and then it's hard to unstart, and you're scrolling or you're checking stuff, or you're doing stuff. So when my 4-year-old's like, daddy, play with me, or she's tugging on my leg, I guess if I was less attuned to quality things, I'd be like, stop, like daddy's working, daddy's important, or doom scrolling. This is important. There's war, I have to stop and say, what in the hell am I doing? I've got a 4-year-old who's not going to be 4 for too long and is not going to be 18 and much longer. It's like, put the phone away or do what you got to do. Play chase, play hide and seek, put on the tiara and play Pretty Pretty Princess. I just have to stop and do it, because it's like, these are moments and memories and relationship with her. And I want her to remember it, sure. But, it's, again, it goes back to the relationships. So, yeah, and prioritizing what's important in life, and it's your time, your time's already taken enough by whatever. Most people have jobs or obligations and things. So making it good. And so the surreal nature of reality today, there's feelings of like, are we in a simulation, or that this, what are the incentives of the simulation? What is real? The simulation wants the most entertaining outcome, and it could feel like a nihilistic, just kind of like, what does stuff mean? Kids suffer from that today. So with the simulation idea in your cards, it's portraying, basically like grounded reality versus, say, simulation. Is that part of it?
You have cards, deja vu, right? You have the architect's lie. It's more getting into these deeper philosophical questions, letting the artwork be what really carries it. And then on the back, it just gives you enough information for you to question what's going on. Not enough to tell you what's going on, because that's more of the simulation. If I was trying to tell you what you should think or what this is, then now I'm a part of that simulation. So what I try to create is just enough information for you to have to ask that question. I just want to spark enough in you to ask yourself that question, and not go lackadaisical enough to be like, that's what it is. Okay, now I know. I didn't get anywhere that way. And that's what I think we have with the social media and everything nowadays and so many people that have lost their butts to shit coins and everything else is I watched this video on YouTube. This guy sounded really, really convincing. He told me that this coin was going to go to the moon because of this reason, that reason, and that reason. Oh, wow, that sounds really good. I'm going to go buy that coin instead of going, oh, wow, that sounds really good. I'm going to go look into that and see if there's any validity to it. Because if you actually did the research, nope, no validity, and you wouldn't have bought that damn coin. So
right.
Cards, the same thing. We're really trying to just give them enough to question for themselves and not enough for them to be like, all right, he told me what it was. We're good.
Yeah, I love the deep philosophy approach that you've taken throughout all of this, and with what you've built and created. It's and the cards themselves help ground people in that way. It is, you know, in a variety of ways. It's something real. It's something that you can get and hold in your hands and think about and experience. And now I'm not as knowledgeable about these. I mean, a lot of kids and a lot of people buy them simply as the art and the collection and the info and just the sort of the experience of it. Is there a game that people play with it? Are there games or things about it? Like I think of Magic the Gathering, obviously, but is there a game associated with these?
Yeah, it's the game of life.
The game of life. So tell me about that. I've not played it. So
either you pay attention and you start thinking, or
okay, gotcha. I am familiar with that.
At the end of the day, I've had many people ask that question, and I'm like, this is the most important game you'll ever play, honestly. Like
the meta game.
The topics in these cards, it's basic human value principles. And if you don't have those, you might not win the game. So
gotcha.
We are working on a lot of other things, future sets that are going to be coming out here throughout this year and next year. That'll be a little bit more mainstream situations like that. But currently what we have done is we've really just tried to focus on the educational aspect of it and the art aspect. That's why the art needs to be so good, because no one wants to buy educational cards. So you're gonna have to sell me on the art so that I'm willing to read the education. And I knew that going into it, but then the more I started going, the more I really discovered that you got to go even slower than that. For everybody, whether it's a Bitcoiner or whoever, we're all human at the end of the day. And again, I will not go back into my rant, but is just accepting reality of where we're at. We want to succeed in Bitcoin. We want this whole thing to succeed. Let's get realistic. Like, we will succeed if we're realistic.
Yeah. The ultimate game being, you know, finding your base reality, waking up and engaging with your relationships and valuing your time. Comment here being that, you know, it's so important to be present with our kids. It's a daily challenge, but today's real currency is time and attention. And it really is. I mean, you speak to it with your kids and homeschooling and you know, balancing hard as you work, making sure that, you know, your family's part of your journey here. So now speaking of based cards, I'm going to go to, let's bring back your website. You've shifted your title and branding a little bit where you have, so on X, there are the Bitcoin trading cards, your core products and offerings and cool things here. And then you have your based trading cards. You had mentioned that Series 3 was perhaps the most based series because you're putting info and cards and things on there that are very, perhaps you might say rattling the cage of the establishment or calling them right out, putting the info out there with the artwork, just tearing the mask off and showing them as they are. So that's pretty base. So at the end of the day, yeah, Bitcoin trading cards, but they are the most based cards perhaps ever, you think?
They will be the most based ever. Series 3 for sure. We've toned it down quite a bit, and we'll continue the toned down moving forward here. Again, I've learned so much from the beginning of this thing to where I'm at now, and
did you get any heat for Series 3 or
a little bit I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I definitely, in order to be successful, it's like the reality thing, right? It would be great to come out and it's like, I'm going to die on this hill, and but I'm not going to be successful that way. And I'm not talking about me. We will not be successful that way. If you want to break into someone's psyche and we'll break into their psyche, if you want to get across to someone the point you're trying to make, but it triggers the cognitive dissonance to the point where they never listen to a word you say, you're defeating the whole entire purpose. So I have to tone things down so that I have the opportunity to do what the whole mission has been since day one. And the mission of day one for this project is not specifically to create cultural timestamps just for Bitcoiners. The idea behind this whole mission I'm on is to create something that is a welcoming, easy, fun way for people to learn about Bitcoin.
So if people feel too much like toxic maximalism, or they're still new to it, and it's like, what's all this dark, stormy weather around the Federal Reserve? I don't understand. It feels negative or scary. You guys are extreme. You want it to be inviting.
Exactly. And I mean, the toxic maximalism, yeah, that's great if you're going after people that are shilling shitcoins and pushing scams on people. Go toxic. Like, I'll back you. That's great. But if you're going toxic on people that are here and they bought some shitcoins and they're just trying to figure it out, and you're being toxic to them, dude, no, you're wrong. That's not the way you should go at someone who's just trying to learn. Again, if just to make it clear to the toxic maxis out there, there's a spot for you. And that is going after the shills that are getting these new people to buy these coins. But do you treat the guy like shit that got scammed? No. You go and offer a hand and say, hey, over here, we don't play that way. That's not what we do. It's okay. We mess up. We learn. Over here, do your own research, right? Yeah. Don't trust, verify. But if we immediately attack people that are just trying to figure it out, we're not going to be successful.
So, yeah, I never made any mistakes on my Bitcoin journey. I always did it right. Not
right.
And you're taking, you mentioned the Trojan. Yeah, I mean, people got to learn in their own way. Some people aren't as good at it or whatever. They got to get burned more than once. You're following the Trojan horse strategy. Way to go there. And yeah, I think about and even if you're maxi, we'll see infighting over like, well, but how maxi are you? Are you this? Or, oh, you did that? But which node? And all the things, and it's like, okay,
you're a vegetarian, you're not on the carnivore diet. And I mean, there's a lot of infighting going on. I mean, even the Knots versus Core, regardless of what side you're on. I mean, there's literally throwing out family members and talking about wives, and it's dirty. And it's like, wait a minute, these are the devs. These are the top devs in Bitcoin talking this way. Could you imagine if one of these top corporations like Apple and Samsung were battling it out on X, and like you have the top CEOs and the top guys literally calling each other's wives and going out, and like, doesn't look good. Again, it's something I've been saying, like, we are the marketing arm for Bitcoin, every single one of us. And you're representing Bitcoin as a developer in Bitcoin, talking that way, whether you're right or wrong, it doesn't matter. People on the outside that are still waiting to get in, that we need to get in, because again, if Bitcoin goes to the moon and we don't get the everyday person, at least 10% of the good people that haven't like gotten, how to say it, if we haven't at least gotten Bitcoin adoption out to 10% of society, and I'm not talking about the rich and just the middle class, but to start getting this knowledge and education out there, then we're not going to get the rest. And the rich are going to get richer. And us Bitcoiners that have been in for a while, call it rich, call it whatever you want. I mean, our fiat value of Bitcoin will go up over time, but freedom will not. And again, if freedom doesn't go up, we fail. Bitcoin ain't shit.
Yeah, we got to be Bitcoiners united. AG the Alchemist says Bitcoin is for everyone. And let me grab a quick thing here.
Yes, AG, spot on.
If you can see that, yeah, Bitcoin is for everyone. Yep. That's from the Portland conference. There's another Portland conference coming up in May, I think. But yeah, Bitcoin's for everybody, and that's why Satoshi disappeared, says Daryl Skater. Yeah, Satoshi would have been unalived if he'd have been doxxed. I mean, he approached it right. He knew when to step away. He gave us a gift. It's like Prometheus gave humanity the gift of fire, and Satoshi brilliantly, the immaculate conception of it all, and walked away. It's an amazing. It's a spiritual gift in one sense, and it's like the invention of the fire, the wheel, the printing press, the internet and computer. It's the first biggest freaking deal that humanity has seen in, I don't know, darn near ever, in a way. I just put it on that kind of a pedestal. It changes so much. It's very important.
Yep.
Now, when I think about so your based trading cards, to be the most based cards out there, you've got produced by base. You do have Satoshi's Heroes. You may have to change this to Warriors. No.
Well, that Satoshi's Heroes is, we've been working on this for a couple of years. This is our Bitcoin trading cards meets Marvel Comics. So we've literally put together multiple stories. There's a comic book that'll be launching here within a couple months. We'll start teasing that out here soon, but it's literally Bitcoin ethos, values, culture, all the things that freedom go up type scenario put together in a comic book. And the first one is ancient Japanese universe, and there is love and tears and blood and everything inside of this, and it'll be very similar to what you would see like a DC comic book, and then that'll be followed by trading cards. So it's our way to get out to the general public with a set of trading cards that is not overly Bitcoin. It's more of a Trojan horse to try and get a lot of this education out there. But instead of it being, here's the conceptual artwork with the education on the back, this is literally more of a story. Like the ancient Japanese universe, this is the legend of Satoshi. And it's really, the premise is if you allow any government, any dictator, any tyrant to take your ability to defend your family, like in this universe, they are taking everyone's samurai swords and they're turning it into coins. So no one is allowed to have a samurai sword, and we will give you coins in exchange. And these coins will help you in life, and you have this currency and you can do what you want with it. But no, you're not allowed to defend yourself or your family. We got you. We'll protect you. So it's telling these stories that I think a lot of Bitcoiners, a lot of people can relate to, but in a way that is more like Star Wars, right? It's not totally in your face. This is like exactly, but more of you can take it for what you want. Lord of the Rings, one ring to control them all, right? And all of these stories over time, these were cultural movements that, I mean, Lord of the Rings, you got to say, like, it's changed a lot of people's lives. Star Wars, I mean, one of the biggest franchises that changed, I don't know about changed, but impacted multiple people's lives. So that's Satoshi's Heroes. That's our hope, to be able to write these stories that are powerful and intriguing enough to do the same thing we've been doing with Bitcoin trading cards, but more in a really intriguing story rather than just education on the back of the card.
That could really go in so many amazing directions, and it's really it's the next logical expansion step into media and accessibility and storytelling. You go back to some of those old stories. I mean, it falls back on the old competitive resource capture game where whether it was Mordor spreading its darkness into the Shire, or the Empire extracting resources from the outer territories or whatever, competitive resource capture control game. And in the fiat world, it's almost so sadly invisible to us. We just think, well, that's just the way it is. It is a similar dynamic right now, whether it's, Mordor and the Shire, the Empire and the Rebellion, Satoshi and fiat. These it's but Bitcoin is like, it's deeper because it's not so much like physical territory and all that. It is like mental freedom, your time, freedom of your time, your very life essence. But it's like invisible. So it's hard to, you can't call it like, well, they got that hill or took that mountain or this forest or our gold, because the rules have changed. You can't take it anymore. You can't steal it. You can't take it. So it's the latest, perhaps, I hope, final frontier of conflict that changes us forever. And the rule has changed, and they can't keep playing the old game. They might flagellate and fight and get ridiculous or struggle to remain relevant. But what I'm hoping, when I think far enough out, that struggle with dramas as it has, and what would be great in a graphic novel or comic, or what you could do with this. It's a tale as old as time, but and yet it's also got a new angle on it, and deeply intrinsic to our very existence. And so, but it's about freedom. So yeah, freedom from this control matrix, basically. So, thinking of really based cards, and I went on my little rant about how based I am. Have you, from back in the day, this is like in the 80s or 90s, there were Illuminati, New World Order.
I remember this.
I had these cards. I just got them randomly because I was into the style of game and the Illuminati story. But anyway, these had some cards that were pretty damn based. Anyway, when I saw your based cards, it made me think of how based these were, because it had a lot of.
Yeah, they probably take the cake. I got to say, honestly, none of my cards get anywhere. They're close, but way more conceptual. I've looked through the Illuminati cards. They definitely beat me.
Yeah, they put a lot right out there.
They sure do. But it's just a game, right?
Yeah. I was actually a little shook when I first saw these and got these, but I was like, holy shit, like he's being allowed to make these. It was funny to me. It was like, it's so anti-establishment, but raw, and taps into like mythology, the mythos of the conspiracy world, and the layers and layers of deep state control freakism that we experience, and yet can't quite see in the fog of that war. Like, we're trying to connect the dots, and it was like, what does it all mean? So we're struggling to find meaning, man's search for meaning in this fog of war of a control matrix. And those cards back in the late 80s and 90s, I think it was, kind of laid a lot out there. Like, here's the Federal Reserve card, sort of, and the New World Order card, and the puppeteer president, and the distraction, and this group and that group, the contrived protest, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, were you aware of those cards, and did they kind of inspire or embody the spirit of some of what you were going for? Like, perhaps
I was aware of them, but I wouldn't say that those were like inspiring in that way. Mm-hmm. I knew early on when I was building this project that in order for this to work, there's got to be a balance. You can't go too far, can't go too little. It was more, I've been an entrepreneur my entire life, and I have continued to hit a wall and fall and hit a wall and fall. And it wasn't until Bitcoin when I really like started understanding money and how economics worked and how it all worked. And like everything just started making sense at that point.
Yep. Same
Like,
with me.
it's not religion. It's not like all these things that we get on these rabbit holes throughout life, but it's our values. And what do we value most? Our time. And what does it take to have time? Money. And well, how do you get money? Well, you got to understand it. So once I started understanding that, I was like, what's the best gift that I could potentially give anyone? It's the understanding of values. And that value does start with understanding how money works. And all the rest of the stuff kind of starts to come along. So I would say that was my ultimate goal beyond the Illuminati. I didn't want to red pill and go really hard and scare people. Ignorance is bliss. There's a lot of people that don't need to go down that rabbit hole.
Right.
We just have to admit it. It's that back to that reality gut check. Like there's a lot of people that honestly couldn't handle it. And like young kids, there's a reason they can't handle it. Let kids be kids. Don't throw it on them.
Right.
At what age do you throw it on them? You teach them values. You make them, hopefully they grow up as good, strong adults, and they have these amazing value sets in them: family, love, unity, culture, respect, right? But dark rabbit hole, it's like, when is it a good time? I can tell you back in like 2015 when I started really, because I grew up very based with my dad, but 2015, because I watched the Zeitgeist on the DVD you weren't allowed to have back
I saw that
in 3, like let anyone see this DVD. So I mean, I've been red pilled my entire life, but 2015 was when YouTube really started kind of picking up, and there was a lot of stuff coming out, and Epstein and all kinds of things, and I went down the rabbit hole. It broke me for like, I think about 2 years. I was broken.
Yeah. If you
peer, and I was red pilled before that.
But I've hit my limits. You peer into the abyss a little bit, and the abyss peers into you, and you kind of have to dose yourself. And I had to entertain this kind of humble balance of like, you know what? I'm just glancing at the tip of the iceberg, probably, but I have to not wreck myself. So it's like it takes time and kind of stepping back and saying, okay, so what are you going to do, pleb? What are you going to do about it? Well, what can I do? And so that's where Bitcoin, it was like, yes, okay, here's something I can do. Or being physically healthy, emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy, being there for my kids and my wife. I mean, there's something you can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because you see it all, and it's like huge and big and dark, or even just unfathomable, or like, reality being so crazy that you can't even really understand it or accept it. It's like, no, that's too evil. Oh, really? And there it is, But anyway, so tell me about your journey. You Zeitgeist, and you got was you black pilled for a while?
I mean, really young, honestly. My dad's an old hippie. I grew up on a tiny little farm around the cannabis industry, going legal in 95. So I was going to Prop 215 meetings at like 10 years with my dad. And I saw people, relatives, friends, and family getting thrown in prison for life for growing a plant in their backyard.
Oh, wow.
So, and these are things that I was taught, not just taught, I saw it firsthand growing up. For another podcast with 1,000 stories, I could write one hell of a book. I saw shit at a very, very young age that was just not right whatsoever. My football coach, I don't know if I've ever said this one on the podcast before, but the football coach of this little town I grew up in, it's in California, but it was like a Texas town. Like, we were champion football players. I mean, year after year, because we were all just little rednecks in California in this little town. And we were some tough kids. So we won year after year. And the football coach, he was one of the championship kids that ended up becoming a coach. And I stood up to him in the 6th grade, and maybe I shouldn't have. He ended up whooping my ass in front of the whole gymnasium and all the kids, and it wasn't like whooping my ass. It was literally like beating me.
Really?
And I was suspended for a long time and kicked out of many classes, and I was in a lot of trouble as a little sixth grader getting my ass whooped by a 300-pound man. And
Wow.
at that point I was like, all right, so this is how this shit works. And I was very already red pilled, see, everything. I grew up with a hippie family and all the other stuff, so I was a tough little prick. But
Damn.
I learned with that one, I was like, damn, corruption, right?
Yeah.
So very, very young, I understood that corruption is huge, and not a whole lot we can do necessarily unless we come together. And I came together with enough teachers over time, because I stayed in that same school. I mean, this is a tiny town, all through graduation, and over time we prevailed. We did really good, and there was a point right after I graduated where me and that coach, many years later, met eye to eye and shook hands. And there's a lot more to the story for many years between me and him, other fights and everything. But eventually, because of his peer pressure, not other kids, but other teachers that were like, man, kind of punk, man. That unity, standing up to what was wrong, eventually it didn't just make him apologize. Like, me and him are cool today. If I seen him, I'd probably give him a hug. It changed his life. It changed, like, he changed. He became a better person. It took like 5-6 years in order for it to happen, but eventually it happened. So yeah, we can win, and we can win in a positive way, because this guy I didn't need to win by whooping his ass. When I was older and bigger and big enough, I needed to win by maybe changing his mindset. And that's what ended up happening. So there is hope. To finish off the darkness, there is hope.
Yeah. I have to remind myself, even when I think I'm working on or having low time preference, the universe remains perpetually more patient than I am. And so, like, I want to see solutions and fixes, or I see Bitcoin changing and realigning systems and fixing things. And it all is, part of me is still like, oh, I wish more was happening. And it is, it really is. It's just, I just get impatient about it. And then at a metaphysical level, in a way, it's like these bad things that happen, or doors that slam closed, we grow from these challenges. And somewhere in there, all of us collectively, even as we wake up, you wake up and you open your eyes and you peel back the veil. And so you're seeing more. And when you start to look, you're like, oh shit, it is bad. And then you think things have gotten worse, or things are really bad. Not that we're not seeing the same movie play again and again sometimes, like, oh, we had Panama and then Iraq, and now we had Venezuela and now Iran. What's next? And who's behind those, and who's behind everything? Well, we start to know better, and it's a slow grind, but that's where I have hope. I think things are getting better. We're evolving and learning and more connected. It's just slow, but someday I see a golden age in a way, or just a freedom life and world, because the old system didn't work, was forced. And so what works will percolate, and what stops working so well will be, one, obvious and cringe, and two, like, stop. Like, stop hurting yourself. So I'm feel hopeful about it all. So
Yes.
Amazing story and life story. I didn't realize the roots we have and where we can go, and how Bitcoin was really a clutch little pivot for a lot of us.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and
again,
that's happening everywhere.
It brings like-minded people together. It's that community. And to my last little point on all of it really is escape the simulation.
Right.
Come back to reality. And the reality is, if you really just slow down, turn off the screens, slow down, touch some grass, and go talk to your neighbors. Yeah, I have not had all good neighbors. So you might have a neighbor on one side, you might have them all around you and just be incredibly unlucky, but there's a good chance that you've got some good neighbors around you. And talk to people that are here in this world and not here in this phone world. And I could almost guarantee you that everyone's going to figure out there's a lot of really good people in this world. Don't talk about politics.
Yeah.
It's all bad. Why would you want to
Yeah.
bring up something that is bad? Either side, either way. No. Let's just talk about life. Hey, how's your grandkid doing? How's your daughter doing? Let's talk about the things that are beautiful. And I could almost guarantee you that the majority of people are really, really good people. And
Yeah.
what we need to realize is there's a lot more good people than there are bad people. So why are bad people winning? Because they're working together really, really well.
Uh-huh.
How about we start working together? How about the good people step out of the matrix and the constant crap that is being fed to us and start meeting face to face and being present, and we start working together, because good will always defeat evil at the end of the day. It's just, we need to get united as a people worldwide and embrace the fact that, yeah, the majority of the world is actually good. And what you're seeing in these phones, it's not the actual world. They're feeding you the algorithm of what they want you to see.
Yeah. Yeah. And like our human origins being more like decentralized in nature. And then over time, they got more and more centralized to the point where it kind of takes a psychopath to want to be a politician to like presume to wield power or to lobby that hard and wield that. And I think with technology and culture now, it's like we're getting more decentralized again here and there. And I'll have family myself that it's like we've got a long history, you know, ups and downs, whatever's, but it's like about the relationship. I'm trying to focus on a mature, you know, growing up and being mature about it and having a relationship. And then for some families, sometimes it's like, well, but, you know, who'd you vote for? You know, but really, you know, like what side are you on? We're being divided. And there's, you know, we can talk about the fourth turning or whatever, but there's this tension and this gap in control and demand for control and lack of control, whatever. But we're trying to be divided up. But I think inherently our human nature really, as humans, like you could be nasty online or virtually or just, you know, whatever, dehumanize the avatar. But you meet people in person and very naturally we get along fine. We agree on more than we don't. So anyway, let me bring to the screen your sites. I'll start out first with your own site, well, on X, so people can find you, Alladan with 2 L's and AN at Bitcoin Life Raft. You can be found here, your personal site. Of course, we have the Bitcoin Trading Cards, BTC_cards. This is where a large community and news is happening for sure.
Yeah, those are the 2 main accounts I would worry about for now. The other ones we'll be building very similar to what we were doing on Instagram. We left this account the way it is because this is where we started. Our roots are grown into the Bitcoin community, Bitcoin culture. So I don't think we'll ever change this account. We'll let it be the Bitcoin Trading Cards account, because every year we will have the flagship set, which is Bitcoin Trading Cards. And this is the main one. Anything we do within the other ones, we'll probably do a little bit of sharing here as well. If you want to support the other ones and give a follow, that'd be awesome. We always appreciate that.
Yeah. You can go to basedtradingcards.com. You'll also get redirected if you just type in btc-tc.com. You'll go right there. I'm floored by the offerings you have, the value of the commodities you've built, but they're still accessible. You can still get yourself a pack.
And we'll be opening up packs. If we don't sell out during pre-sale, then there will be single packs available. Normally, we don't do single pack sales during pre-sale because it's quite a bit of product for the team to ship out and manage. So if we did packs during pre-sale, it would take the first shipment to get everyone's pre-sale items weeks, if not months. So we open up packs afterwards so that all the people that bought boxes in the beginning get taken care of first, and then we open up those pack orders.
There's the leap of faith. Beautiful artwork. It's many art galleries in your hand. You are on Nostr. You can find Bitcoin trading cards on Nostr. You post stuff there for those of you that do Nostr and avoid the algorithm. Instagram, based cards. You can find your 80s theme here lately. So you're on Instagram. Now there's a Telegram group too. I didn't want to forget there's a pretty cool club. Nice group of folks that are all got a positive vibe, not
Yes.
Yeah. So if you use Telegram or get on Telegram, you can join Based Trading Cards on Telegram and be part of a growing community there as well.
Yeah, best community in the world by far too. You won't find a safer, more honest, incredible community than the community that's built around this. A lot of them have become some of my lifelong friends, for sure. I mean, AG was in here, Dub was in here, a lot of the guys in the community. Shout out to Skater. We had a lot of amazing people that support their friends, and it's incredible. So I would say if there's any sweet spot to go, the Telegram is definitely the sweetest spot.
Awesome. Divine Training says it's the best. I'm going to have to join. I'm going to have to. I don't have Telegram on my desktop, but I'll get it on my phone.
Yeah, well worth it. And no scammers. Don't worry. Scammers, if you come in, you're done really, really quick.
You get the boot.
You get the boot really quick. So it's a very safe community. Everyone's asking questions, and there's even more people there to answer the questions, and they got your back. So it's incredible. I mean, it's been going almost 4 years now, and I mean, we don't have drama in there. We don't have issues. We just have an incredible community. And a lot of us, we get together in person at conferences, and we've done, I think, 65 people. And when we were in Nashville all together, 21st floor. It's amazing.
Awesome. You're going to be in Vegas, I assume?
We're not going to have a booth this year in Vegas. I might be there in person to go and just be with the community, but no booth at this one. We're working towards potentially the Midwest Bitcoin Summit, and if we can make it to Prague, that's one we'd really like to. But
awesome, yeah, that's cool. Raymond will do anything for you shy of a backflip. It's getting older. That is totally awesome. I look forward to seeing you down the road, hopefully in person at one conference or another. I go to some of those. So before we land this plane, is there anything that I didn't touch on that you want to make sure I got out there that you wanted to share about anything?
We touched on far more than I probably should have touched on.
This is a safe place.
No, this was great. I think we covered it. At the end of the day, anyone that's looking at the website and looking at the pricing, yeah, it's expensive, but that a couple reasons just to put that caveat in, because it is scary looking at it right away. Bundles, we got to figure out how to manage that and maybe open up some boxes and break some bundles down. That's why the pricing is really high on those. But you can get a pack of Series 3. Check them out. The down to $3 a pack for the educational ones. Oh. The best tip you could give to anybody is just hand them a pack of those educational Bitcoin trading cards. So there is packs at all different prices we've created over time. And as we move towards the future, the cards won't be quite as scarce. They'll still be 100x scarcer than almost anything in the hobby.
Anything else?
Yeah, but they will be produced at a level that we can actually do a lot better price. When you're printing at the level that we print, the scarcity that we print, and everything we're throwing into it, if you took the time and did the math, we're doing this because we love it, not because it's profitable at this point. That's for damn sure.
When it comes to cards and collectibles, it's the most non-fiat vibe going on that you've built. Bring Facts says he's going to be at the Midwest Summit. That's in Columbus here. Looks like it'll be Columbus, so maybe you'll find each other there.
Beautiful.
And there's a request for a teaser. You might have touched upon it with the graphic novel comic book idea. Is there a teaser to reveal it at all in any way? What's coming up?
Yeah, I guess we could do that. Am I able to share my screen?
I think so. I think you have an option to do it.
So I will have to speed through this video real quick. There's a couple boring parts, but I'll speed through it. It's like 2 minutes long, but I'm going to put it on hyper speed and I will skip through. But this is something my community I know would be really fired up about. But I haven't wanted to share it because it's not completely complete. The experience box that we created, it's pretty insane to say the least. Let me see. Can I share it before I get everyone the teaser?
I've had guests do that, but if you can't, we don't have to belabor it, but I can. Oh, there you go. Yeah,
you got it.
We can put this up.
So this is the dust cover, and it'll all be printed and done up beautifully and detailed. This was from the printer a couple weeks ago, but I just haven't shared with community or anyone yet because there's still some pieces to be put together. But as an example of how insane I am, this box is pretty damn insane. There's literally been nothing like this ever in trading cards. Custom binder. That's a glove compartment right there, and you actually get limited edition base trading card gloves to open to open your packs with.
Yeah.
And then the binder itself is literally all golden. So again, Asanilla claims it's his black and gold. No, it's all black and gold, everything. And here we have scissors, and there's a golden key, literally hand dipped 24 karat gold key.
Oh wow.
These are your little parallel sets. So I mean, it's extreme to the max. And yeah, that's the giant card that you open up, and inside that car houses that pack. So that is no one has seen yet. I probably won't drop it in the Telegram group because it's not fully done, but I was like, what's something that I can give real quick that you only get in here? That was it. So that's the first ever little sneak peek for anybody into the experience box, and it's still only about 50% done. So
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. Quite a teaser. Great reveal there. I really appreciate it.
Whoever stayed to the end, you deserved it.
Yeah. You've given me a lot of time here. So that's the experience box. Comes with a little car and a golden key, and you might just get the lucky golden ticket of the key. So hey, awesome. Super exciting. I really appreciate everything, the time you've given me and where we meandered with all this. Great conversation. I really had fun. So I love what you're doing. What can I say? Keep it up. And I can't wait to see what's coming down the road and everything about it. So it's an amazing contribution to the Bitcoin community, Bitcoin culture, people in general, and orange pilling in its own Trojan horse cool way. So you're Bitcoining people, orange pilling people.
Yeah, thank you, Fritz. Really appreciate you bringing me on. And to everyone else, stay based.
Stay based, everybody. We will see you next time. Thank you.